All right. Hi, I'm Chuck,
And Deb.
and welcome to the
Chuck
Chuck
and
and Deb
Deb
Show.
Show.
And I absolutely have no idea where we're starting tonight, other than we're still on the topic talking about your why so that you can dominate 2019 and actually go out there and make your dreams, goals, desires, whatever it is that you want to accomplish in 2019, make it happen for you. And we've decided that one of the things that we want to share with you guys is what we're working on, and that's our why. And believe it or not, every time we are doing this with you guys, we're working on our why. So our whys become stronger. We're able to define what we're doing. So it's a work in progress, and it's really pretty neat actually, because we have to think about what we're going to talk about throughout the day. We don't have anything scripted, and so a lot of times we use what's going on in our daily lives to just share with you guys what we're doing in our life and sort of document our journey as we move ahead, and yet at the same time be here to help you accomplish your dreams and goals in 2019. So Deb, you got something you want to take over with tonight?
I do. As I mentioned last night, I have a pretty amazing story to share with you. So I'm going to start by this. A couple of years ago, we were in a transition phase in our business, and I had decided that it was time for me to take a step out of that business for a period of time. So we carpooled together, always together is the Chuck and Deb Show. And so Chuck had asked me one day, so what's your why, and what, if you could do anything, Deb, for free, what would it be? Now, it's easy for me to answer that because I really feel I'm connected to my why in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am meant to teach, coach, and train. And so he said, well, that sounds really great, but what would you teach, coach, and train? And my generic answer at that time was, I could teach how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich to someone that didn't know, and I would feel fulfilled. And I think that comes back to our service, heart of service, just wanting to help others. And so it was about a week-long commute back and forth to the office, and every single day. So have you figured out your why? Have you figured out what you're going to do, Deb? And yesterday when we were talking, Chuck had mentioned that sometimes it's right in front of your face. And so I was stumped and I was stuck, and I felt like I was totally in this blocked space. And so we got to talking about some other things and writing and things that we loved, our passion. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was about 6 days later, and I just started jumping up because I'm a pretty excited person. I don't stay calm very long. But I said, you know what I can do and what I'm passionate about is I can help others learn how to ride motorcycles. So with that aha moment, I decided that I was going to look into becoming a rider coach. Thank goodness we have some pretty good connections with our local Harley-Davidson dealers because I love my Harley. We love our Harleys and love to ride with great friends and family that are joining us, as well as many others out there. So I began the pursuit of becoming a rider's coach for the state of Florida required basic riding course. Now, it didn't come without obstacles. I know yesterday we talked about the bumps in the road. I quickly found a shift in my career that had me working weekends. And if anyone is familiar with motorcycle riding, the courses happen on Saturdays and Sundays typically. So for about 8 months, I was stuck in the fact that I couldn't continue on my path of becoming a rider coach because you've got to really put a lot of effort and time to being on the range and many things to get that certification through the state. So again, through a little bit of self-digging and getting into my inspired why, what was really driving me, I made one more choice to change that career and move into something that would free up my weekends so that I could follow through with my passion and answer my why. So I'm excited to share with all of you that may not know, I am a rider coach here in the state of Florida. I teach for 2 different Harley-Davidson dealerships in our local area, which I am so excited about. I get to teach this weekend. And so that was about a 1.5 year process, but I didn't let go of the end goal. So a lot of times when we talk about goal setting here, with our own businesses and different things is that we always have a goal of what the end looks like in its own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of work our way backwards to where we are today and how we're going to get from today to the end of that goal. And that was what I did with that particular goal. I knew what the certification looked like. I knew what the requirements were. I just needed to take the action day to day. So one of the major components to beginning that action was to free up my time on the weekends in order for me to actively pursue that goal with my passion of being a motorcycle riding coach. So thank you for being part and letting me share my story. But I think what's also extremely important about that is the obstacle part, which we talked about yesterday. And we'll just, again, touch on that briefly because as we mentioned yesterday, our businesses are kind of in a tricky spot, if you will. It's a busy time of year for us and what we do. And today was another one of those days, quite honestly, of another obstacle. But what I was so inspired with early on in the day as we were talking is Chuck said, you know what, it's all my perspective on what the obstacle is. And it's really not an obstacle, it's just a speed bump. And if I look at that as a challenge and an opportunity to grow and become bigger and better. So why don't you share a little bit about what that aha moment was for you, Chuck?
Well, it's really interesting, and I'll tell you just briefly what's gone on this week. We have to get a mailing out for an election, and it has to be precise as far as the timing. So what happened this week is our main computer, the hard drive crashed. I've got tons of computers. I've never had a hard drive crash. Sure enough, the hard drive crashed. I dig up an old backup computer they have at the office, put that into place. It's working fine. We're trucking along. Come in the office today. That system's on the fritz too. So it just wouldn't stay. So it just wouldn't keep anything. So we're really pressed for time, and we're having to get these amendments and these different things together. And it's just crazy. So I took a little break, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, it's sort of funny because what I did is sort of what Deb said is I actually put myself in the way I think is a little bit strange. Things just sort of come to me. I don't really think, they just come to me. But I put myself in the end, when this is all over. It's like, which place would I rather be in? Would I rather be in this place where it's just all stressful and pressure and I got to get this done? Or would I rather be in the end where it's already done and over with and be able to look back on it and laugh on it and said, we made it, we did it, and we did whatever it took to get it done, and we got it done right. So that's what I did, and I came out and I told Deb, hey, look, that's the perspective of it. So sometimes you just got to, let things come in and just listen to what's going on and change it. Yeah, it doesn't always happen that way for me. So believe me, that sometimes takes a lot of work for me. But Deb told her story, and really she left out a lot to that, and maybe we can get that at some other time. But there was quite a bit of the detail there. One thing about Deb, and I wrote this down. I wanted to make sure I wrote some things down. What do they say? There's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Okay. And that's what Deb had. Once Deb knew it, and I did. See, here's the thing. I knew exactly what I was doing to Deb because I was trying to pull out of her exactly what I was doing. I wanted her to find her passion or why, because sure, she could teach, but what did she want to teach? And I would bug her. She was, she'll tell you I bugged her every day about it until finally she got it. And I knew, I didn't say anything because I just knew that it was just waiting there to come out. Sometimes, people have to find their own why, and you have to find your own why. You have to find out what that is. And part of what we're talking about in the why, when it comes back to the whys, the why is a very emotional thing. Now, I want to sidestep. I'm not going to be negative here, but what I do want to say here is that sometimes people have whys for doing things that are not necessarily positive, okay, for whatever reason. So, but then we're not going to talk about that. I'm just mentioning it so we can move forward. But that usually those whys, when they're doing those whys for whatever reason they're doing, it's probably because an emotion is attached. So if we change our energy and we say, okay, we're going to make this more positive, we're going to go after it for our why on what we want to do for us, then you put that emotion into it, and the emotion is what gets you in motion, right? So it's the fuel that drives your passion. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense.
So you can rev it up.
We definitely want to rev it up, especially moving right into 2019.
And throttle on.
And so there are oftentimes a little bit of blocks too that come into play. So we just have to try to figure out and work through those. A lot of times you can talk to people that are near you, that know a little bit about you. If you are struggling to find your whys, some of you guys might already know your whys. A lot of people I run into in life seem to know their whys right away. To me, I always knew what my why was, but I really didn't know exactly how to express that all. And Deb has always sort of been in touch with that. So, but we've worked that out. We've created a freedom plan. And I sat down one day, and again, it was inspired. It was just inspired, and I just started writing things out. And part of it has to do with what Deb shared. We try to go to the end and try to work our way back. It doesn't always work exactly. Sometimes you have to take a step here so that you can sort of see the other one, where you can see how they connect. I'm not sure I'm making a whole lot of sense, because I am a little bit tired, but I won't make any excuses either. So thanks a lot for hanging in. Anything else that you can think of, Deb?
No, what you were just expressing about sometimes, and oftentimes when you set those, what we call BHAGs, or big, hairy, audacious goals, you don't necessarily, you maybe know what the end is, but you don't know all the steps to get to that point. So it is a matter of faith and trust, and having that continuously inspired why in front of you in order to keep taking one step in front of the other, and just if you get off course, get back on, as we talked yesterday. So I think that, to me, that's kind of the most important, is just knowing that that's really what you're passionate about, and that will continue to help drive your why and drive you to the end, even though it may not be the course that you thought it was going to be, and being open to that too. So I think, just being in the moment of where you want to go and where you want to get to.
Yeah, and when you know your why, everything else will present itself. You'll figure out the how and all that good stuff. So when you know your why, like for example, the big one for the New Year's is losing weight. Okay, everybody wants to do New Year's resolution to lose some weight. Well, you got to have that why. Well, why do you want to lose the weight? Do you want to look better? Do you want to have more health? Are you concerned about your health? What are the whys that are behind it? And they need to be emotional whys. So when that pecan pie is sitting right in front of you, one of my favorites, and key lime pie, you just gotta be able to say, that's no problem. I have no problem with that, because my why is more stronger than that obstacle right there. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, and we've kept you guys probably good enough time tonight.
Yeah.
I hope it was helpful. Before we do go, I got to try to remember all these little nuances with Facebook Live. If you would, please like and share this. And also, if you would, please join our Facebook page, The Chuck and Deb Show. And then, because what we would like to do is probably, I got to still figure out this technology, but we'll probably move this live to the page at some point. And I'm not sure how they'll connect with the other things, but we'll figure all that out as we keep moving forward. And that's just it. We got to take the first step, which we've done, and we're taking the next and the next and the next. And we're just going to keep on going, because as I keep mentioning to you guys, Deb and I have some very, very large goals. We have to start here in order to get there. And we are so glad that you're joining us on this journey. And if we can help you in any way on the journey, if you have anything that you'd like to share with us, any suggestions, any feedback, anything that we can do to help you in your journey, we want you to know that that's why we're here. We have a very strong passion for helping other people. And if we can help you anyway, please do let us know, because you're helping us by just being here tonight. So my name is Chuck.
And Deb.
And thank you so much for watching the Chuck and Deb Show. Have a good